Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another record to play for you. Today, record Paul Revere for 1978. So let's get started.
Paul Revere was a patriot who fought for liberty when England tried to keep us slaves to a king across the sea. For independence and the right to make our own fair laws, Americans took up the fight. Sweet freedom was our cause.
Please, children, quiet. Class will come to order. Howard, sit down. And you too, Rachel. Fifth graders, you will sit in the third row, and the fourth and third graders will sit in the second and first.
I don't feel good. Can I go home?
No, you may not. You have to walk home, and that is over 5 miles. You will wait until your father brings the horse and buggy to pick you up at 2. Class, will you please come to order?
If I get sick, it'll be your fault, teacher.
Please! This is a very important day. Today we have a special guest who will give us a talk on American history.
History. I don't want to learn about history.
You must learn about our country. Next July 4th, we will be 40 years old.
40? That's real old.
Not really. There are countries in Europe that are hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Then we're just a young country.
That's right. It was just 45 years ago that our people started to fight in the revolution that would free us from the rule of the British. The gentleman sitting over there, in the center of the room, remembers it all.
He does. Was he there when it all happened?
He was just a little boy then, but he was there. Children, sit up and be very quiet as I turn the class over to James Brody. He will give you your history lesson today, and he remembers it as it really happened.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Mr.
I know that you think that history is foolish. Well, maybe it is to you now, but I want to make it a little more interesting to you because I lived right in it. I remember it, just as it happened. I'm going to try to make history come alive for you right now.
Were you a general like George Washington
Oh,
was?
no, I was not.
Were you a soldier? And did you fight in the war?
I was not a soldier. I was too young then. I think I was about your age, young man.
Really?
Yes, I was about 10 years old, and I helped Paul Revere.
You did what?
I helped Paul Revere on his ride to warn the Americans that the British were coming.
How could a little kid help Paul Revere? Paul who? I don't remember hearing about him.
Children, let James tell you his story. Maybe someday one of you will have a chance to help history being made.
Well, thank you, Mr. Oglethorpe. Now, the colonies were ruled by the British. Oh, the young country was heavily taxed. All the food was being sent over to England. I remember my father talking with some of the men one night in the main room of our house. They were sitting around the fireplace talking among themselves.
That's not right. We work and all the money goes to England. I have had enough. We have to put a stop to it. But how? Declare ourselves independent from England. Independent? I have heard talk about this independence in New York, where my brother lives. My son just got back from Philadelphia, and there is talk of a revolution. Can we fight England? Can? We must, or else we will never be free. I hear that Washington has formed a militia, and that they are training for battle. Well, I hope it never comes to a war. But if it does, we will fight.
Fever of revolt against the rule of England spread over all the colonies. Soon the small meetings grew into larger ones, and all the men were saying the same thing.
We must fight and free ourselves from this tyrant. George Washington, you are our chosen leader. What do you think?
We must fight. It is the only way for us. We must fight and free ourselves from the king. We will form a country of free men who will not be ruled by tyrants. It is the road we must take. It will not be easy, but we will win.
Yes, we will. So in war did come. 13 colonies were ablaze with cannons and musket fire. Men of the militia were led by General George Washington. The more they were fired upon, the harder the young men of the country fought.
I think we can hold them now.
But winter is coming. We don't have enough food and clothing to keep us. It looks bad, General. Real bad.
What should we do? Give up and stop fighting and let the British come and take over? If we lose this war, we will never have another chance to fight. We will be servants to the King of England for all time. And do you want this for us? Did we and our relatives leave England for that?
No!
Then we will fight on, and we will win. We must win.
And they did fight. It was the worst winter that the people of our time remember. It was cold and men nearly froze overnight. The colder the winter got, the more determined the men were to win. The fighting went on and on. And then, as if by some magic, the battle turned in favor of the great general and his men.
Men, it looks like we have made the British retreat. The tide of the battle is turning in our favor.
When will it all end, General?
Soon. And when it does end, we can begin to build a new country.
Oh, the battle raged on and on. The British were strong. Their generals were very clever. They did not want to lose this new land.
How can it be that an army of farmers, untrained in the skills of warfare, are doing so well?
The greater our attacks are, the stronger they become.
Look at this map here. They have driven you from this position and from this one. You must reverse yourselves. We must crush this rebellion and put an end to this war. London wants its top now.
Well, we have tried. They are fighting with such strength, such drive.
Strength? Drive? You have more guns, more men, and more ships. You must use whatever measures you can to end the war, and do it now. If you fail, then I will have no choice but to send you back to Britain in disgrace.
I will try.
Next we meet, I want to look at this map and have you tell me that the rebellion has been broken. And when it is broken, these farmers of the colonies will be justly punished for this treason, especially their leader, this so-called General
Washington.
Oh, yes.
He is their leader. They're calling him the father of his country.
Indeed. We will show this Washington that England will not stand for a revolt like this. When we get through with him and the other leaders, no one will ever stand up against us again. You may go.
Thank you, sir.
These 13 colonies must not break away. I will see to it that they will not.
The British and many men. They combed the hills, the valleys, the colonies. Oh, it was terrible. Battles raged everywhere. Some days the British would win, and other days the meager army of General George Washington won. Oh, but everyone was nervous. There were so many more redcoats than colonists. What's a redcoat? That is the name that the British soldiers were given. Their coats and their uniforms were bright red, so the invaders were given the nickname of redcoats. This is all very interesting, but how did you get into the story? Yeah, I'm getting into that in just a few more minutes. Now, one night, the general of the army met in Boston at a secret meeting that would soon turn the tide of war and help it end sooner. It was the beginning of March, and I cannot remember the year, when the general called the leaders of the town of Boston together.
This meeting will come to order.
What do you want us to do?
We need your help.
But we are not soldiers. That is your job.
It is not just our job. It is the job of every man, woman, and child in the colonies.
We cannot go to war. We have to stay in our shops and our farms and work. If we stop, where will we get food and clothing to take care of the army? We feel that we are doing our share.
And you are. But now you must do a little more.
How much more can we do? All our sons are fighting.
riding alongside of you.
Let me tell you of our plan. We want the men in this village and all the townships to be ready to fight the British if they come into your city and homes.
Are they that close?
They are closer. We don't know what they are planning or what they are up to, but we have to be ready for anything.
Explain to us what you want us to do.
We want you to be ready at a minute's notice to pick up a weapon and fight. We want you to be ready to fight in 1 minute.
When and how?
The enemy will never expect us to be ready for them in these villages, but we will be ready. You will be trained, and on the signal, you will fight and keep them out of your homes. You will be minutemen, ready to fight at a minute's notice. Will you do this for your country?
We will.
All of us shall.
Oh, yes. When the British came to a village or a city, the Minutemen sprang into action and fought them off. Oh, the British were confounded at the cleverness of the Americans. So was their general.
You told me that when next we met, you would have put a stop to this rebellion. But you have failed.
We have tried, sir, but even though we have more weapons and men than they have something greater, sir.
And what is that?
A passion that will drive us into the sea.
The sea? You stand there and tell me that? Then you will be sent home in disgrace. I will take charge and bring our law and order down on these colonies. I have a plan. The greatest armada ever of men and ships is coming here from England. Our ships will land secretly from the east, but they will think we come over the mountains from the west. Look on this map here. This time, we will land our ships here and march on them while they have their backs to us. We will wipe their small army out, and that will be that.
I hope you will win, sir.
I will win.
While the British were making plans to invade the colonies and take Washington by surprise, the colonists were also making plans.
We're all waiting to see what part you play in history.
Oh, it has come up to me now.
Well, it's about time.
I remember someone in the army coming to Paul's house on April 18th of 75 and asked him to volunteer for a very important mission. I remember as if it happened yesterday.
Paul, do you think you can help us?
Well, what can I do? You see, I am not too good at shooting a gun. I have never in my life shot a gun.
What we are asking you to do will not require you to shoot or fight. All you have to do is be able to ride.
Well, you know that I am one of the best horsemen in these parts.
The general knows that. That is why he wants you to be in charge of this mission.
Me? Well, what do you want me to do?
I think it is better if you come with me to our camp in the hills. One of the men in charge under Washington will be able to tell you everything better than I can.
I'll go. I'll just saddle up my horse and then get moving.
It took no time at all for Paul and the soldier to ride over the fields and into the hills. Soon they were at the camp, and they were in the tent of a very important-looking man.
Good day, sir.
I am honored to be here. What is it that you want me to do?
You are known in these parts as a good rider.
Well, I have been riding horses all my life, just as most of the people around here. But if there's anything I can do to help, I'll be happy to do it.
The British are planning an attack.
They're coming here? Are you sure?
We know that they are coming here, but we do not know how they are coming.
How they are coming? What do you mean?
We don't know if they are coming by land or by sea.
By land or by sea? Well, what am I to do?
You must do this, Paul. If the British march to the town this night, you must hang a lantern in the north church tower as a signal.
A signal? Yes, I understand.
Now you must hang one lamp if they come by land, and two if they come by the sea.
And where will you be all this time?
My men will be hiding on the other shore, ready to attack the British.
If that is all I have to do, then why do you need someone who rides well? After you put up the signal in the church tower, you must then ride through every village and farm and warn them that the British are coming, and that they must take up arms and be ready. Will you do it?
I will, sir. I'm ready to help my country in any way that I can.
I wish that I was Paul Revere. I would have done something to help. But your story's going on and on. What did you do?
I'm getting to my part of the story right now. I was outside of my house. We lived right next to Paul. When he came outside and called me over to him.
James! James Brody! Come over here.
What is it, Paul?
How would you like to help the revolution?
Oh, sure would, but my mother doesn't want me to fight.
Oh, you don't have to do anything but have my horse ready to ride around the countryside when I need him.
All I have to do is have your horse ready?
That's it. Will you do it?
Wait till my mother hears that I'm helping the revolution. Oh, she'll be so proud of me.
You have a very important job.
Oh.
You must be ready to saddle my horse at any moment during the night.
I'll sleep in the stable to be certain that I'll be ready.
I know that you will do a good job.
I could not wait to run in and tell my mother. Mother! Mother!
What is it, James?
I'm going to help the revolution.
You are? How?
I'm helping Paul Revere. He asked me to.
Just see to it that you don't get into any trouble. And make me proud of you, son.
Oh, I ran into the stable and saddled Paul's horse, fed him, and then waited. The hours moved slowly by, and then the sun began to set. Paul came running into the stable.
Are you ready, James?
Oh, I am. I have the horse all ready. Do you think you'll have to ride tonight?
Well, I think this will be the night. I think I will go up the hill and watch and wait.
So Paul went up the hill and looked. He looked at the shore, then he looked at the land, and then he looked at the sea again.
I don't think there is anything coming by land, but what is out there in the water? Can it be? British men of war sailing quietly into the bay. I had better give the signal.
So Paul ran to the North Church Tower and climbed the creaky stairs.
One if by land and two if by sea. There. I'll hang them high in the tower. I'll light the first one. There. And now the second. There. I hope the militia sees them.
And they did see them.
Look at the tower. 2 lanterns are burning brightly. Men, the British are coming by sea. Let us be ready for them.
So this time Paul climbed down the church tower stairs and then ran to the stable.
Is my horse ready?
It is. Are they coming?
They're coming by sea. I have to warn the village and farm.
Here's your horse.
You did a good job, James. You can be really proud of yourself.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Come on, let us ride.
And he rode as fast as his horse could carry him over the countryside, warning everybody that
The British are coming! The British are coming! Towards!
And that is how I, as a little boy, was able to help the revolution.
That was exciting. Yeah. Nothing exciting like that ever happens today.
Excitement, just like Paul's ride, can come to you if you are in the right place at the right time, just as I was.
We should all thank our guests for coming here today and telling us this wonderful adventure in history.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Years passed, and the story of Paul and his ride were written in a poem that is read by children and grown-ups alike. It is called Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and it goes like this. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere on the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light. 1 if by land, and 2 if by sea. And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm." Then he said good night, and with a muffled oar, silently rowed to the Charleston shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, where swinging white at her moorings lay the Somerset, British man of war, a phantom ship with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide.
Meanwhile, his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears. till in the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore. Then he climbed the tower of the old North Church, by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread, to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the somber rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade. By the trembling ladder steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all.
Beneath, in the churchyard, lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still, that he could hear, like a sentinel's tread, the watchful night wind as it went, creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats.
Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride on the opposite shore, walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side. Now he gazed at the landscape far and near. Then impetuous stamped the earth and turned and tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And lo, as he looks, on the belfry's height, a glimmer, and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight, a second lamp in the belfry burns.
A hurry of hooves in a village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles and passing a spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and fleet. That was all. And yet, through the gloom and the light, the fate of the nation was riding that night, and the spark struck out by that steed in his flight kindled the land into flame with its heat. He had left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him, tranquil and broad and deep, is the mystic, meeting the ocean tide, and under the alders that skirt its edge, now soft on the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the tramp of his steed as he rides. It was 12 by the village clock when he crossed the bridge into Medford town. He heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river's fog that rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting-house windows, blank and bare, gazed at him with a spectral glare, as if they already stood aghast at the bloody work they would look upon. It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the beating of the flock and the twitter of birds among the trees, and he felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadows brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed who at the bridge would be the first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball.
You know the rest. In the books you have read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again, under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere.
So, that was Paul Revere for 1978. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment. Now have a good video with another video coming out real soon.